I'm here with Iddo Benzeevi, the CEO of
Highland Fairview.
Highland Fairview. Iddo, can you tell me what did it take to create this distribution center?
Well, it took a lot of, to begin with, a lot of ingenuity because there's a lot of new technologies that are incorporated into this building. First, it is the largest building of its kind in the United States. Most significantly, it will be the largest green building, LEED certified building in the country, but it also has the most advanced automation and robotics systems incorporated into a building like that. So getting all those technologies together and integrating all those, including the construction process itself, which required much higher standards than conventional construction you see in most buildings, were essentially the key elements that were in place in order for us to be able to execute this building.
What were some of the unique things that you've done with this building that have never been done before?
Well, the size of it in and of itself, there's over 81 million cubic feet of capacity in the building. This over 1.8 million square foot building has the same capacity as about 2.6 million square feet of conventional buildings you see all around in Ontario, Fontana, and all over. So that's essentially what it is.
Now, I understand that this is not only the largest building, but the largest lease or rental agreement in history, correct?
We understand from CBRE, who represented the tenant Skechers, that this was the single largest commercial lease ever signed to a single tenant in the U.S. It's a $240 million lease, and it turns out to be the largest. I didn't know that at the time, but CBRE has indicated that to us, so interesting.
Well, what are the significant benefits to Skechers to bring a facility this large to this area?
Well, their needs drove it. They're consolidating from 5 facilities into this one and tremendously improving their productivity. So the 5 facilities combined had the capacity of moving about 5,000 to 7,000 products an hour. This will do about 20,000 in 1.8 million square feet. The end result of which, between the energy savings and the systems in the building, they will yield about $25 million of annual operating savings compared to their existing structure.
And what kind of impact do you think that this building has or will have for this region, especially Moreno Valley and the county of Riverside?
Well, the fiscal impact, the county has indicated to us, informed us that they've done a fiscal impact analysis, and it showed $194 million of annual economic benefit to the region. So it is quite significant in terms of the impacts that the community will benefit from.
And from the economic development and from the workforce development, what did this region offer Skechers as far as workforce development?
Well, this building has received no incentives, no government support, or any tax breaks or otherwise. So at this point, there's been no incentives or packages offered by the county or the city. It's a unique facility. I think from this point on, as people understand what these requirements are, the world probably will develop programs that will enable to be responsive to a facility like that.
And I understand your firm is looking to develop similar size distribution centers. What does this region offer other companies like Skechers as far as being able to create these types of distribution centers?
Well, first of all, what you see around you, Skechers is the first building of what will be a 40 million square feet corporate park facility that we're developing here. And it's mostly for the next generation, large footprint, highly efficient automated systems for logistics. But generally, we're in the right part of the world. This is the Pacific century. All the trade is coming from Asia, and LA and Long Beach are the primary port of entry into the western United States, taking in 40 to 50% of all goods coming into America. So the region is well located. You're from this area within an hour of every major market in Southern California and within the overnight trucking to the 11 western states. So it's a phenomenal location. And the county and the cities, clearly in today's economic times, some are struggling more than others. But the economic impacts that these facilities produce are going to enable the county and the city to return and come back with incentives and different programs. I know they're focused on workforce development and they're trying to generate several programs. I know the college in the region has received several substantial grants to enable to do education and training for these industries. And I know the Workforce Development Board, the national chairman for the National Workforce and Investment Board happens to be now from Riverside County. So it's getting particular attention even in Washington.
You were saying earlier that this is really the future of, quote, manufacturing. Manufacturing has really changed, and it's really now gone from manufacturing to be really logistics. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, you could see it in your personal experience. If you crack open your laptop today, you'll see a chip made in China, a screen made in Japan, a hard drive made in Malaysia, and other components made all over, assembled in China, perhaps some of the software written in India, and eventually delivered to a customer. So manufacturing really is very horizontal, dispersed throughout the world. The cost of collaboration between industry has so shrunk that it's now almost the preferred way of operations. There's so much technology, so much new development, it's almost impossible for a single firm anymore to gather all the technologies and all the innovations into within the four walls of their structure and deliver a product. It does require a procurement of technology, services, and facilities all over the world to produce a product.
Well, a building of this size, what was the most difficult thing that you had to overcome in the development of this building?
Well, because it's innovative, there was different areas of challenges. One is the cities and counties, you're dealing with a very sophisticated structure that the planning departments really were not set up to deal with. So there was an educational process, and we had to develop new methods for them to enable to get through. Slowed us down a little bit. At the end of the day, we still built the entire facility in 8 months, but our original schedule was 5.5 months. But other than that, mostly we have worked out most of the design very diligently before we started to make sure that we can run as fast as we can once we get started. The old notion, measure twice, cut once. And so in a much more sophisticated sense, that's what we really, I think, do well is vision and new technologies and delivering very effective products is one thing, but it's all about execution. So if you really look at us, what we're really very good at is executing and executing well.
And what role or did the county help you at all in moving the process forward, trying to be a mediator between yourself and the city?
Well, not so much a mediator, but they provide a lot of assistance. They got it. The county has done a phenomenal job. Based on our schedule, we required Sunday inspections. And as you know, the county is not open on Fridays, Saturdays, or on Sundays. I've asked the Board of Supervisors, and particularly Chairman Ashley, if we could have inspections on Sunday. He didn't take him but an hour to come back with a positive response and say you would have inspections on Sunday. And he really did show leadership, which is to the credit of Riverside County. While his people were working here on Sunday, he came here at 6 o'clock in the morning. Was here on site, out here with the county people to show that if he makes them work, he's going to be out here as well. So that was a very nice gesture of him.
And the last question, what did it take to put a deal like this together with Skechers? I mean, I know you work with CBLS, but it must have been quite a bit to put that together.
Well, you can imagine a very large transaction, a lot of pieces, a lot of different parts have to fit together. So clearly it involves a lot of discussion, negotiations. But most importantly is everybody was focused on the right destination, the right target. And we clearly knew what they wanted to achieve, and we focused like a laser delivering to them. So that made the process much easier, and we streamlined what could have taken months and months to achieve. We actually did fairly quickly.